Welcome to the SaaS AdLab podcast, where we bring you the stories of SaaS founders, entrepreneurs, and CEOs. My name is Luis. I'm the owner and founder of Fantom agency, a data marketing agency specializing in scaling SaaS companies. And today I have the pleasure of interviewing Tina. She's the co-founder and CEO of SocialWebSuite. Thank you so much for being on here today. It's a pleasure having you. And I know you're in Toronto and it's a little bit later for you, but I really appreciate you taking the time of the day to be on here and share a little bit more about your story, the business, and really how you got to where you are right now. Before we go into anything else, I would like to mention that Tina was very kind to provide anyone that's watching or listening to the podcast with a 30% off discount for a yearly plan. And it's going to be, you have to use the code Fantom, just Fantom. And Tina, thank you again. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself? You know, where did you grow up and how did you come up with the idea for the company?
First of all, Luis, thank you so much for having me here. And so my background is I grew up in East Europe, Belgrade, Serbia, ex-Yugoslavia. And then I moved to Toronto, Canada in 2007, sorry. And we came up, my husband and I came up with this idea simply because we were involved with the WordPress community. So we have been organizing WordCamp Toronto and volunteering and organizing and helping with everything for 3 years, 2014, 15, and 16. And we ended up with making a plugin for Buffer, which is a social media platform, right? So our plugin actually connects your WordPress site to the Buffer, and you have a little bit of things inside the WordPress, so you don't need to go to Buffer all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And then we started getting a lot of emails from our users asking us for a bunch of features. Basically, when you are just like sort of a connection to some other platform, you cannot really
changes.
Yes, you cannot make a lot of changes because everything is with Buffer, and we are not like associated with Buffer. We just made that plugin, right?
Yeah.
So that's how after like who knows how many emails, we sat down and we were like, okay, obviously there is a market for it and potential in it. Mm-hmm. So let's just not make our own. Like, why are we sending people to like other business, right? Why don't we make our own social media platform?
Was the plugin free to use?
So it was free and paid. So basically freemium model. We have a free and it's like free to use, right? And then if you need more features, then you pay or more accounts and those types of things. And it's still there and it's still working. So it's like fully functional. It's still at the WordPress.org and we still have people using it.
Very cool.
So yeah. And yeah, we like Buffer, don't get me wrong. So how we get into it, that's pretty much the story. So although you can use SocialWebSuite and it's like any other social media platform, for example, Buffer and others, we specialize in being like the first and only currently that it's deeply connected to WordPress, basically deeply integrated. Why? Because we know that market, we know the WordPress sites, and that's like we know the pain points, and that's why we decided to be like to try to resolve those pain points, right? So you don't have to have a WordPress site to use us. Obviously, we can RSS feed, YouTube, messages, and scheduling, those types of things. But if you have a WordPress site, obviously you're gonna see a lot of benefits by using us rather than like other social media platforms. I think that's like pretty much the story. And the story is like my husband and I are co-founders. So we are like life and work partners, and everybody keeps asking me, how is that working? So maybe we can talk about that later as well.
Yeah. Now, so I understand that most of the people that use the software are people that are, deeply involved in WordPress, right? And although that's a big majority of the like people that have a website out there. So a lot of the people that are using Buffer or people that are using Hootsuite and the list goes on, right? How do you try to get in front of those people? That is there specific industries or niches that are having the issues that your platform is able to solve that maybe Buffer or Hootsuite doesn't do, aside from being able to be connected to WordPress so deeply?
So Good question. The differences with Buffer and us, and the Buffer is perfect in they have really good UI, like really simple design, and UI is really good and easy to use. However, why they have like probably the best and simplest UI and UX out there is because they actually stopped adding more features, right? So you have to go there and like copy and paste messages and schedule, and you have to fill in the buffer in order to work.
Right.
So for us, the difference is we haven't done that, because basically you can do that with us, but we repeat your messages, which makes more sense because you don't have to. It's like you just come here and you set everything and schedule, and you don't need to worry about that ever again, like for at least, I don't know, a year or something.
Right.
However, with that being said, because we have a really, really huge variety of users. Yes, majority are from WordPress and they have WordPress sites, right? However, there are a few that doesn't have a WordPress site. They're just using us. They're like social media managers or like affiliate marketers, etc. And they are using us, and that's why they like us. So basically they have that. They have the calendar view as well. And in all our plans, we have the calendar view and those types of things, which you don't have in Buffer. You have to pay more to have those additional features.
Right.
So you can see everything, and you can move the calendar and those types of things. Everybody likes the calendar. Is something that I found out when we started it, and whatever is the number one thing that everybody likes, because I think that they can see everything there. They can schedule, they can edit, they can move, those types of things. I guess everybody's used to like Google Calendar or some other calendars, like when we were growing up, the paper ones. So that's, I guess, I don't know, that's my 2 cents. And yeah, that's the thing that people really like. And that they have to like, they can go there and schedule whatever they want. And that's pretty much it. They know that they don't need to go there all the time. The other thing that what we did is at the very beginning, actually, to try to be a little bit different than others, is we really try to be like the best in customer service, because I think that's the core of every successful company. And we try to make the platform better for users, and like more automation and more stuff that user doesn't have to worry about. And because we connect with like different social networks, sometimes probably that well, sometimes when you are working with another company or SaaS or whatever, you have problems, but like that other company has problems, and you are just connector and you have to deal with that, right? For example, especially Facebook, most like
because they're always making updates and things like that.
So they keep like at the beginning they keep disconnecting and those types of things. So we actually made some auto refresh button that basically refreshes that tokens all the time. So the users doesn't have to do anything unless obviously they are changing their password or whatever. So like that thing. The other thing what we did is we actually made a wizard, like the onboarding wizard, that it's literally like you go there and everything is set between like an average 5 to 7 minutes. You don't need to do anything else. Like everything is set, everything is scheduled for you. And we also have the calendar that we actually pre-schedule stuff for you based on social media influencers' best times to post and how many and those types of things. So like we did a lot of research and do that as well.
Right. That's awesome.
So those are the things.
Now, when it comes to, for example, let's say Facebook, like obviously like you're able to connect, like you said, to all these different platforms, right? But you have the issue of not owning the social media, so you don't really have control over that stuff. So when Facebook kind of starts to, decrease the amount of reach organically that people are able to get from their post, how are you able to provide or speak value to the product, right? When you notice that all these platforms are wanting you to pay to actually get in front of the users. So is there I mean, that's really I think that's a hard question to answer. So
It is a really hard question to answer. However, there are still ways to, increase the reach.
Mhm.
What I found out with basically a lot of research and with our own blog,
Mhm.
it just like if you are posting something that is really valuable, so you don't have to like, if you're just posting like promotional stuff all the time, obviously that like the reach will decrease a lot. Like, and nobody's gonna pay any attention to your blog, like messages on any platform. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
If you are providing value, and if you are like teaching people something, as now we are talking about it, and like hopefully some other people like startup founders, they can relate to a bunch of stuff that we were talking about.
Mhm.
So if you are teaching people some value, obviously everybody wants to read it. I mean, wouldn't you, right? Like when you go here and like, oh, okay, I want to know how to change my light bulb or something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read that.
Yeah.
So, rather than like, okay, they are promoting now, the batteries or something. Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
I mean, if I really need the batteries, I'm going to click that. But,
Yeah.
those are the two different things that,
Mhm.
so basically, yes, there is always a way, there are still ways to do that properly and to get in front of the audience properly.
Mhm. Are you guys integrating with any of the ad platforms that these social media networks provide? So like if someone wanted to boost a post or run an ad directly from within SocialWebSuite, is that something that they'd be able to do?
Not yet, but coming hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Because we have that. We have a few people asking us for a Facebook ads, right?
Mhm.
Because of the decrease in Facebook, especially, and the Facebook ads are still relatively cheap and good way for getting some traction.
Right.
So for Facebook, we have became a LinkedIn marketing partners, and now we are working to become Facebook marketing partners as well.
Mhm.
Although for those ads you don't need to, we want to get that because of Instagram like scheduling, right? And I was at the Facebook conference, actually, F8. I don't know if you know that, the developers conference. So basically, I was talking there to a lot of people from Facebook, and
Yeah.
I mean, same company, right? And those are our plans as well. So we will start with Facebook ads simply because we have more requests for it.
Right.
However, I've noticed that LinkedIn ads are also now increasing. So we might go with LinkedIn, then Twitter, or probably Facebook, Instagram, and then maybe
Yeah.
LinkedIn. We'll see.
Very cool. That's awesome. As far as, obviously getting traction and getting your first customers and just keep growing, obviously, the user base, what are some of the best ways and strategies that you've been able to implement in order to like get in front of the right people?
Well, as I said at the beginning, we know a lot of people and at the WordPress world. We are going to a lot of conferences. In the past year or so, I have been going to a different conferences, not like WordPress related. Before that, we only went to like WordPress related conferences, right? So when we actually started out and we became a beta, what we did is we reached out to like a lot of people that like, can you check us out? And we were in beta from March 2017 until January 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So we were in beta, we were gathering feedback from users. And that was free to use, and like, okay. That was completely free. So people were using us free and like providing us feedback and those types of things. So those are the things that we did. And then obviously the reaching out to the community. And then we have a bunch of blog posts. I have been on like so many podcasts, cool. Talking to everything, like, and so that's, I guess, I don't know, like so many things going on.
Yeah, that's great. Is most of the growth, has it mostly come from an organic point of view, or have you ever spent like a decent amount of dollars to kind of promote it and try to get in front of people and obviously like acquire more customers that way?
So we did for Facebook ads, right? So we tried dabbling with Facebook ads last year. I think last year was first, yeah, when we actually start charging for, yeah.
Mhm.
So, and then what we found out is that for us, I mean, everybody's different, and I'm not specialist in Facebook ads. So, but what we found out for us, basically, it works particularly well when is some WordPress conference. So basically, if there is a WordCamp or WordCamp Europe, especially, or WordCamp US, where like, you know, a few thousand people are going, if we targeted the ads there to only people that are there, that works really well. Like, for example, last year, the WordCamp Europe was actually in Belgrade, which is a hometown for my husband and me, right? So we went there, we ran a Facebook ads, and a few of our friends told us, oh my God, like I've seen your ads like 1,000 times. Like how much money did you spend? Like whenever I'm on Facebook, it's your ad. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's working. So yeah. That's awesome. That's how we gain a lot of traction as well, and users and those things.
What places in the world are most of the users coming from?
And that's so funny because it's like all over. Like literally all over. Like I cannot really tell you. Like obviously the US is still the number one, but we have so many people from anywhere, everywhere in the world. We have Nigeria, we have South Africa. We have obviously US, UK, Canada, Germany. Where is this girl? Oh, so we have like few other places in Europe. I think France. Spain, Italy, Italy, and then one is like some Nordic country, which I was like, oh, this is so cool. I forgot which country, and like, because I'm always checking which country, because that's like cool, especially when they reach out to me, like customer support or whatever. I always check, and it's always fun. And thank you for Google Translate, pretty much. I can only say that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's difficult, right? When I mean, a lot of the times, you know, you want to like reach out to a lot of different, and that's actually something that I hadn't really thought of is, you know, like most people like can get through with English, right? But when it's like customer support or something, when it's like maybe it's a phone call or it's like on the spot messaging where they don't have time to like go and translate it or something like that, then it's like it can definitely be a hassle, you know, when, especially at the beginning or when things start to take off and you don't really know what to do in that case. So I think that's really cool.
No, the funny thing is, like funny stories from the customer support is that people, first of all, our platform and everything is in English, right? And the docs and videos, everything is in English, and we don't really advertise that we support other languages. Although all of us knows at least one or two other languages, we don't really advertise that because we don't want people like messaging us or like, you know, the language. So everything is in English, but however, as you said, I am guessing like some people, it's easier for them to, you know, reach out to us on their native language. And then the funniest thing is like, so they reach out to us like on Spanish or Italian. So I go to Google Translate, and I know a little bit because I have been learning Latin in 2 years, and my husband took Spanish classes, so we know a little bit. But like for, you know, to be sure, you go to Google Translate, you put there, and then I reply in English, and then they again reply in Spanish, and so we are going back and forth, and it's so funny. I'm like, okay, who's gonna understand this conversation?
Right.
But yeah, it always goes through, and everybody's happy. So
good. Now, if you were to do something different, like let's say you could go back, you know, to the first year of starting, what is one thing you would have changed?
That's the question that like everybody keeps asking me. I think like there are a few things. Like first of all, I think that we would invest more in marketing and less in development, because my husband is a developer, right? And the number one thing that we wanted to make is to make sure that the product is good, like developed and everything is working and whatever. But we didn't really think about it like the marketing at that point, because as I said, I guess we were lucky that we had our like already traction with our like previous plugins, and we already knew people, and those types of
Right.
things. So we didn't think about it like you need marketing for it.
Mhm.
So I guess my advice would be to, spend as much money on marketing as you would on like development.
Mhm.
And the other thing is that we would like, I would probably release it sooner, at least to beta.
Yeah.
Because we were like, all of us in our team are like a little bit OCD, which is not a good thing. We need like at least one person to say, okay, now it's, release it. It doesn't matter. Nobody's perfect,
Yeah.
And I know that like in the back of my head, but still you're embarrassed, right? To like put your product, which is not really, ready. And but it's really important. And, you read a lot of books about it, and it's really, really important out there as soon as possible to get feedback. So that's, I guess, those two things at least I would change.
Yeah, and you're not the first one that I've heard say that. As far as getting it out sooner, I had one individual who he said that they took 4 years to build the product, and like it was a lot of debt, obviously, and like building the product, and it was just like it took a lot longer than he thought. Like they still pushed through it, but if he could have changed anything, was like just ship it out sooner in order to like be able to gather a lot of like you said, feedback, because I forgot if this was the case, but like it ended up not going the way they wanted it to go. So it was a lot of time wasted. And obviously if the sooner that you put it out, the faster you get feedback, the faster you're able to pivot, make changes that aren't going to be, so detrimental to the product, which has already been in development for such a long time.
Yes, that's so true, because you get like we all assume things, and then you actually put it out there, and it's like the feedback is something completely different that you would think of. And like the best way to actually add more features and more functionality is from the user's feedback, right? Because that people are going to use it. So release it out there as soon as possible and start getting feedback, and that's how you build the product afterwards.
How do you weigh, right, like what features you're going to actually put out, what features you want to not put out? Because one of the issues that I see too with certain products, and obviously not all of them, but like there's the people that want to make everyone happy and please everyone, so you have like 10 different requests and you're like you don't really know which one to go with. Or you have like the product, for example, like Buffer, where it's like very stripped down and simple, and it's still successful. So like how do you manage to like make that kind of decision?
So how do we, so basically whenever somebody recommends something, right, or ask us for something, I always ask my team of developers, how long do you need to make this? If it is a really, really simple thing that we can do it for like, 1 day or something, it doesn't matter if only one person asks us, we're going to do it.
Okay.
If it's a more than like 1 day and we need, a few days to do it, or, 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever, then I'm going to wait for, at least 10 people to ask us for it. And then we're going to do it. Okay. So that's how we actually wait those types of things. And obviously we have some friends. I became friends with a lot of people, like, in WordPress world. And if they ask us for something, we're gonna, okay, of course. Yeah. So that doesn't really count in this, like, business strategy, but that's how we do it.
Very cool. That's nice. It's kind of like you still value what every single individual has to say, right? No matter like how like difficult, obviously, like it matters how difficult and how time consuming, but if it's something small, then why not? If it's going to make you stay here and not go to maybe like whoever's able to do it or whoever already has it.
Yes, we did a lot of stuff for people like as well, for just one person asking us for it, simply because it was like 1-2 days of work, and we know they're going to be happy with it, especially within the plugin. So why not, and then that's why people stay with us, because we want to have customer service, and we want to customize it for you. So why not, right?
Totally. What's one of the things that has set you back in the past, like something that went wrong, or maybe some mistake that was made, just kind of like it doesn't have to be like super detailed, but if it can be, that'd be great, just to be able to provide that value to the listeners, like this is something that you should try to avoid at any cost.
Well, that's one of the things that I was also wanted to mention, that I wish we would done it sooner, is the onboarding wizard. So because we were, and that's one of the mistakes that everybody makes, like all the startups that I've talked to at the beginning, you keep adding features. So you keep adding features, simply because, you get so many requests.
Right.
But you don't really make your software or product usable to people. So make it first, fix like everything that you need to. You are either, for example, for us, it was that onboarding wizard, and like, better understanding what people has to do, as well as once when we actually release a bunch of videos, like short instructional videos, like 2-3 minutes, like how to do some stuff.
Yeah.
And we put it on, like, obviously Vimeo, YouTube, whatever, and we put it inside our dashboard. So basically when you are inside it, you can actually just click on it and watch it, and it's like
a knowledge base kind of
sort of. Yes.
Very cool.
That's the things that really should be implemented at the beginning, right? So those are the things that maybe set us back in terms of we received a lot of customer support requests.
Like trying to figure out how to do stuff.
I would recommend everybody to use Hotjar. We also have paid account, simply because I believe with the free account, you cannot make recordings, right? The recordings are really useful.
That's interesting you said that. I actually signed up for a Hotjar account yesterday for another project that I'm working on.
Funny.
The free one does include recordings.
Oh, it does. Okay. Yeah. But it's limited. I think the time is limited or something, or the number of recordings. Yeah. Because we had a free, and then we moved to paid because we need more functionalities, and I think recordings longer. And that's awesome. I can tell you right now, like I would recommend that to everybody, like obviously. So yeah, you can use free as much as you want. We have it on our website as well as within the dashboard. So basically we actually follow what users are trying to do. And then if the users are like confused, and you try to make them less confused, right? You try to help them as much as you can. Totally. The other thing with videos, I would recommend to everyone, and we actually did a split testing, is we did when you open the account with us, you either get a video to watch, or you get the like tooltips. You remember that Zippy or whatever, like the Microsoft thing?
Yeah.
So yeah, sort of a thing, sort of similar to it. Yeah. And then it explains you what to do. Like you wouldn't believe, but once when we released those two, we were following everybody, like all the people, and that was like 100%. I kid you not, like 100% in conversion from videos to like paid subscribers, because we have like 14 days free trial, no credit card or nothing. So it was like
really cool.
That was awesome. Obviously for us worked really well. So
that's really cool. Now to get a little bit more personal and provide that sort of value to the people listening, right? And this is something that you mentioned in the beginning, and I'm sure a lot of people are doing it. So how do you deal with, working with your significant other? Obviously, like, you love them and you want to spend time with them. There's things that you sometimes like maybe like butt heads on and don't necessarily agree on. So what is some of the best ways to kind of, separate work and life?
So the good thing with us is that we are coming from a completely different backgrounds, right? So as I said, my husband is a developer. So whenever there is a technical stuff that needs to be solved, he's gonna solve it. Not me, obviously, because I'm not a developer, and I can listen to it. And a bunch of times, although we both sometimes do together, or sometimes only me, the stand-ups with our developers, and like sometimes they ask me for advice what to do, and then we talk about it. And because I'm not a developer, I guess I can help them solve the problems better, because sometimes when you're a developer, you're just stuck on that problem, and you need to talk to somebody else to like figure it out. But like, so he's with the technical stuff and everything relating to the technical stuff. He is obviously there. So basically, my number one advice is like to separate roles. So you have the like specific role that you are good at, and you do that. Obviously, you're gonna do a bunch of things together as well, like you do, you know, different roles, you know, together, deciding together, and those types of things. But that like works same as in every other business with any other like partners that are not life partners. You just talk to and agree or not agree, and you know, hear everybody's opinion. And that's pretty much it. In our company, we value everybody's opinion. So there is no like I said so or whatever. I don't like that. I am not that kind of person, and I don't like it. So we actually hears everybody's opinion, and we talked about like all the features that we are actually implementing and all the other stuff, like because like everybody has like so much like we have so much valuable feedback. And all our team members are with us from the beginning, right? So like it's our baby, everybody's baby. So awesome. We want to be successful, and yeah, that's I think it's our key to success, hopefully.
Very cool, very cool. Now, what is something you're not very good at as a business owner, entrepreneur, right? Whether it's, for example, and these are just examples, obviously, like maybe like making hard decisions, or like telling people what to do, or like telling people that they did something wrong. What is something in that kind of area that you struggle with a little bit?
Well, as like every woman out there is going to tell you, I'm perfect. I am joking a little bit. So obviously, as I already mentioned, the technical part of, you know, I cannot really help much. As much as I learned a lot, like before, when you compare my knowledge before and now, it's like huge. But still, obviously, I'm not a developer, right? So I cannot talk about it. The other things that, well, that's like sort of, and I don't know how to explain it. Sometimes I really don't have time. Sometimes I want to, but like I don't have any ideas for a blog post. Like to, you know, to write a blog post. And sometimes I'm really like, you know, oh yeah, I have an idea, and like it's done like this. So that's like sort of so and so. The other thing that I am not a car salesman. So, and both my husband and me, we are not really good salespeople. So I guess that's why we are good with the WordPress community, because in the WordPress community, there are not that many car salesmen, right? So it's like a completely different world. So the people are different there, and the sales process goes differently there.
Okay. So
with enterprises also, it's a little bit different. But like if you need to go to like a cold outreach and those types of things, I always, I do a little bit different approach. I appreciate people's humor a lot, and I do that in my emails. So I always like, you know, put a little bit of humor in that, but I don't like to, and I really don't like to do it. I don't like cold selling. Like that's like something that, and when I have to do it, it's like really stresses me out. So that's maybe the number one thing that I really don't like.
And you know, it all comes down to like personality type and a lot of different things.
I think,
so,
yeah,
it's like some of those things, like, I mean, you could really try to like work on it, I guess, if you want to, but if you don't like it, then I won't necessarily call it an issue, right? Like it's
yeah, but it's something that you need to learn at least at the beginning, right? Because well, and I don't know how said it, but it's really a good thing, because like the owners or founders or co-founders or whatever are the number one sellers of their own products and services, right?
Right.
So if you cannot sell your own product and service, then nobody can sell it.
Right.
So that's pretty much it. And well, I know I can sell it. As you can see, I talk a lot, so I don't have an issue with that. And I'm not shy, so obviously. So I don't have a problem with that. I'm not an introvert, but like I think I am more, I'm not the person to be cold selling. So basically the conference going and like approaching to people and talking there, I'm going. Meeting like this, I'm good with, but like simply the first actually approach, like the first, go to LinkedIn and like send like a bunch of emails and cold selling and, follow up and those types of things. And I'm always scared what they're going to write, like reply and whatever. That's something that maybe I'm not that good at.
Yeah. Okay. And what's something that you're really good at?
Well, I have a friend here, stayed with us for a collision conference. And what he told me, he said, oh yeah, I asked around about you, whatever. And he told me that I'm good in making relationships, but meaningful relationships, not just like, meeting people and not hear from me ever again. Like creating really, really meaningful relationships. So maybe, okay, let's go with that. I'm good with that.
Right. Oh, and I mean, he, she, I don't know. He, yeah. Obviously we talked a little bit before the podcast, and I definitely got that vibe that you're able to like maintain relationships and obviously converse with people and kind of like not be, what do you call it? I don't know, like you don't hold back a lot, right? So like you're just,
that's a good thing. I hope so.
Yeah, totally. Like you're able to express yourself and you just kind of like you're yourself, no matter like kind of like the situation that you're in. So that's always a good thing, I think. But that's awesome. Now, if you had one piece of advice for any person that is trying to build a SaaS software, what would that be, aside from the things that you've already told us?
Well, in this day of age, there is like everything already exists. So you will not be, making something that doesn't exist. Right. And you will not be making money overnight. So like, forget about that. You have to make a plan. So stick to the plan. And you have to be aware that there will be a lot of sacrifices. So basically our social life, we almost don't have it. We are lucky that we have a good friends that understands that we have to work hard, and they're not mad when we cannot see them. So that's something that you have to sacrifice if you want to succeed. So basically, yeah, that's something that I would give the advice to everybody, because nowadays everybody wants to be an entrepreneur or whatever, but they don't think that it's like really, really hard work.
Yeah. Totally. Okay. And we're getting pretty close here to the end, so we'll just start to wrap it up. Where can people find you online?
Everywhere. So yeah, you can send me a Facebook request, friend request, LinkedIn, Tina Todorovic. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, same image. I'm on Twitter, and you can send me an email, tina@socialwebsuite.com. Probably that's the best way if you want to get a hold of me, because I check my emails on the phone all the time. So yeah,
very cool.
Pretty much it.
And one of the last questions here too, what SaaS companies do you look up to? Like, which ones inspire you, that the way that they do culture or the way that they run their business?
Well, we talked about Buffer, right? So that's the one company that I really like and admire. I mean, they started a long time ago. There is like so many social media platforms out there. And they're still successful, and their customer service is really good, and their company culture is really good. And I think that's really hard to maintain, especially how the average rate of like successful businesses is not really that long, and in like first 3 or 5 years everybody like fails. And they have been here for like more than 10 years. So
right, they've been around for a long time. So definitely, were they the first like social media?
I am not sure, and like because recently I was like thinking about it. I'm not sure if they are the first or Hootsuite.
Okay.
So those two, and I'm not sure to be honest. So I don't want to give the wrong answer.
I'm gonna have to look it up after this now, because now I'm curious.
Yeah, so it's either or. Yeah, but they are both good. Yeah.
Very cool. And Tina, do you have any questions for me?
Any questions? Yeah, I have a question, because when you asked me for the ads, like which ads would you recommend basically to people for like okay, for the beginning of the phase, like when they're just starting out, like the SaaS founders, they don't have that much money, obviously, so they're just starting out. And then after maybe a year, when they already, you know, have a customer base, so now they can maybe spend a little bit more. So what would you recommend to?
So it's not necessarily what ads I would recommend. I think it's more so the strategy behind everything, right? And making sure that you think through things a little bit more. And like you might know already, like there's so many things you can do within like Facebook ads or Twitter ads or whatever platform you decide to go through. But I think the most important thing is creating brand awareness, right? So one of the things that I've preached to my clients and other people too is, you know, use the cheapness, right? The cost effectiveness of like things like Facebook ads, engagement ads, and things like that to get in front of people and not necessarily expect something from it, right? So just put yourself out there, put your name out there, put a lot of content, a lot of video out there. Facebook's going to reward you for using video since it's the preferred type of media. But once you do that, you can start investing into things like Google ads, right? And you can do a lot of different things in Google. One of the things that really works out well, especially for like early stage startups, is competitor bidding, because you're just piggyback riding off of the traction that someone else has already built, right? So you don't have to like, especially for like, you know, like more niche down, I guess, you know, companies where you have like, there might not be a lot of search around it, but you have like one main competitor that maybe is a unicorn, you could bid on it. And typically like the cost per keyword isn't so expensive. So you can still gain some traction that way. And obviously use your USP on the headline to catch attention, because not everyone's going to be wanting to go through that user. So again, using whatever differentiates you on that headline. And obviously like copywriting is going to be huge, like making sure that you're able to explain, you know, the features of the product, the benefits, how you're going to solve the problem. So a lot of the times too is it comes down to like the copy and the message, right? Like people don't care about your platform. They care about what it's able to do for them. So being able to express that also. But again, it comes down to, you know, building that brand awareness to where people actually start looking you up by name. And then you can start increasing the amount of people that actually convert once you have that brand awareness by going into Google search ads and doing a brand campaign for literally like cents per click. So you can kind of like put those two together and just have like a bottom of the funnel or top of the funnel on Facebook, right? Where people don't know anything about you. And then they start to search you, and you'll see like how that trend starts to go up. And then people will start searching you, and obviously like more leads and sales will start to come in.
Nice. Yeah, makes sense. Good. So yeah, that was actually my question for me, and hopefully it will help other people.
Yeah, a lot of details, but yeah, there's definitely a lot more things that you can do. But I would say that's probably like the number one is just make sure you get yourself out there, put the name out there, put valuable content, right? Like we said, like it's not just for organic, it's for paid. If they see like that's straight, like buy my product, nobody's gonna care. Like you have to make sure that you provide value, give answers and things like that. But yeah, thank you so much, Tina, for being on here today. It was really a pleasure having you and obviously like speaking to you and learning a little more about SocialWebSuite and the things that you've done so far with it, right? So I really appreciate your time today, and it was really cool speaking to you and being able to provide value to all the, you know, the viewers of the show, the listeners. So thank you so much for being on here. And people, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, pretty much all the social platforms as well. Just look up my name and you should be able to find me. So if you're not in the SaaS AdLab group, make sure you join. There's a lot of value provided in there, and we're trying to make the group better by providing more value. So the more people in there, the better. But again, thank you so much for being on here today, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope some other founders will find our chat beneficial.
Yeah, I think they definitely will. Thank you, Tina.